and welcome to Oddrey's World. I'm your host, Oddrey Oyer. Oddrey's World is my little place on the internet where I get to talk to my friends and you get to hear our conversation and we get to daydream and explore what life could be, what we want it to be, its challenges, and just like catch up. Yap the yap, talk the talk, do what we do. So this is my corner of the internet, and welcome. I love talking to people about their daydreams because you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes the daydream is just that person in a mold, and it's like, oh my God, of course. And sometimes they just surprise you, and you're like, wow, that is so smart. I love that you're thinking about that. Or it's just interesting, and you're like, whoa, cool, I love that for you. And daydreaming is just fun. It's fun to escape reality for a little bit. So that's why my internet corner is all dreamy and we make time to talk about this important shit. Guys, this is highly important. And remove all of the items from your calendar. This is what we have to talk about. This is what you have to listen to. So I hope you know the urgency and the importance of daydreams and what they do. Today is a very fun and special episode because you get to hear from my friend Pat. So Pat Holden, welcome to the pod. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Claps. Yay. Go Pat. Welcome Pat and welcome listeners to Pat's World. Pat's World, we get into music, living in Boston, sports in Boston. If you know Pat, that's an obvious. We talk about his new job and doing a little 180, a little switcheroo in life. And, just all things that come with being in your 30s and seeing changes evolve. And it's just a little slice of Pat's life right now. So if you are interested, lock in, get a little cozy. Get cozy in that walk, get cozy in those errands, get cozy at work, wherever. I don't judge, wherever you're listening or watching to this. Just get cozy and enjoy. And let's get right into it. I'm like a tech whiz now. I can figure it out. I can make it even.
That's fine. What number episode is this for you?
Oh,
Do you not know?
I don't know.
Or I guess I'm just curious. Do you have a
I
guess?
think for some reason 38, 39.
Okay. All right. Cool. Off the top of my head, I can't. I'm curious. Let me know when you find. I don't want you to count. Whatever. If you knew, I could make a mental association of oh, whatever. Lucky. Well, for me, it'd probably be, oh, that's a hockey player. That's his number. Blah blah. 38. Jump off the whatever, but it's not important.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's hard for me to know or time. I don't know if you've gotten this bug recently, but I feel like time for so many reasons. I never know what day of the week it is. I'm very much just fumbling through time. But then, especially whenever I'm actively doing the podcast, I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm interviewing Pat. His episode will be out in 3 weeks. So my mind is 3 weeks ahead almost or something. And then I'm like, wait, I thought that happened months ago. Or, so it's messing with my time.
Yeah. Sure,
even more.
No, okay. 37 would be the best lucky number you could give me, I would say, possibly, but I don't want you to shuffle up your process for my weird neurotic whatever.
That's why 37?
37 because it is the Bruins player that I grew up idolizing, basically, and is someone who's important to me and Julie both, basically. So our little sports hero. He's now retired because we're old and he's gone. But his name's Patrice Bergeron, and he's
that's hilarious.
Many of Boston kids like me grew up idolizing him, basically, and he's a good dude too. It's kind of tough sometimes. You idolize sports stars, and then you find out they're publicly cheating on their wives, or just not.
Or just horrible people. Yeah.
Yeah, just not a good model. But Patrice Bergeron is that rare one. And it's really, unless you never know. But it's been long enough. He's a genuinely great dude. So.
Protect him at all costs. Well, 100%. I'm dying because 37 in my high school friend group is our friend group's number, and so it's just hilarious. It kind of started because I think my friend Maddie took pity on the
Mm.
number 37 because it was overlooked, she felt, and now
We have a special number. I'd say also 40, 42 random coincidence. Like me and my two best friends from high school, who I still like. You may have honestly like you may have met them one time or two because they came to Xavier like years and years ago. But
hmm,
we all grew up with the house number 43. So that was just like
that's
you know
crazy.
the kind of thing that if we were stupider, we would have gotten it tattooed maybe one day. But
Never say never.
yeah, so okay, one of those two would be key. But we're just
Yeah.
gonna you have to let the chips fall where
We're
they may.
somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
You manipulate it. That's just not that would make it inauthentic. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. I'm just perplexed. Growing up, I remember distinctly in kindergarten was when we had to learn our like address and like learn all those numbers and things. And I felt very lucky because I only had three, like it was a 400 number, but I was like, no one had a double digit home address. And
Okay.
but then some people had like up to 5 digits or something crazy. So if I were in kindergarten, I would have really appreciated having the number 43. But
It made it easy. What was your Brockman number?
no clue.
You don't remember? I was 221, and I remember that because that's also my birthday initials. So that felt
Hmm.
like just weird coincidence. So you were
I
two
want to,
something. You were
I
probably
was going to
two
say, I
one.
want to say like
Whatever.
207, 20, I think.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because we our wing was 2-2, like second floor, second wing. I guess I don't know something, and you
Yeah.
would two either 2-0 or 2-1 something. Again, not
Hmm.
important.
It's crazy. What about, so what made you guys choose Brockman?
I definitely was doing the least, back then. Like I didn't
Yeah.
like I was
Shocking.
yeah, shocking. Yeah, you know me pretty well. I think like Troy's girlfriend actually was the one who just reached out to me on like the little Facebook thing, and it was like, oh, this guy
That's
likes hockey. Like,
hilarious.
we were both Patriots fans, so it was like, oh, I'm sure we could be friends. Sure, why not? And I didn't really have any like high school friends who were going to Xavier. A couple kids from high school, but even if they were, I feel like part of my thing was like, you gotta, you know, you gotta at least I knew that. I was like, I'm trying to leave the
Starting
state and
fresh.
I'm trying to like branch out. I don't want to like go live with someone I knew, but all those kids, Troy and Spencer and Nick and blah blah, they all grouped up. But Troy was the spare one naturally, so like everyone was like oh, let's all room together, and Troy will find someone else, and that ended up being me, which just worked out well. So I was the best man at his wedding. He's still one of my closest friends. I love him to death. Um, so that was fine. But I don't how we ended up with Brockman. I'm sure it was just kind of like a random assignment or something. I don't know. I
Sounds
didn't.
like his girlfriend did all the work for you guys.
Yeah, 100%. She just reached out on Facebook and it was like that was it. Like they didn't do
That's
any
funny.
work. And I remember he used to have like I used to give him anxiety because when we were like coordinating, so to speak, like, oh, you bring a microwave and I'll, buy a TV and
Mhm.
blah blah. He was like so gung ho about it, and I was just so casual. I was just like, yeah, sure, dude, whatever, like, cool. And he was like, this guy's a fucking asshole. Like, he just
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, so it's just
He
my
doesn't care.
laid
Would
back
you say
person.
that you're very plan B or type B?
Yeah. I don't honestly like like this is silly, but type A, those are the people that are like, super organized, super whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, I would
And
say
I
I'm
would say like perfectionist kind of in some way. Like perfectionist, very organized, always planning, like
yeah,
contingency
no, I'm just
plans,
kind
and then
of letting it unfold for sure.
yeah,
That's why
yeah,
I try to find the plan A people to link up with and let them do all that stuff. But
and then show up. Yeah.
I'm working on changing that now, honestly. I think I'm a little more organized than I was in the past and a little more like uh, direction pointed in a direction, so to speak. But generally speaking, my natural state or whatever is yeah, just like, oh, what are you doing tomorrow? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll figure it out.
figure it out.
I
Um,
love it.
yeah,
I
it's not a
love it.
good thing. It was a good thing, but nowadays I feel like it's causing me like stress. Like I'm so busy right now that on a day where like it's good. Today I did yoga, which was nice because like you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I miss you waking up earlier. I need to like if I sleep until like 9 or 10 anymore, I wake up and I'm like I just have this like anxious feeling. It's not cool. Saturdays are supposed to be relaxing. I'm just like those are the Saturdays and Sundays now are the days that are toughest for me.
Yeah.
Very strange feeling.
It's weird. Growing up's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. It is weird. I haven't quite found like a ton of maybe like one or two, like white hairs or gray hairs in the beard. Those freak me out. But other than that, it's like the habit's changing. Yeah, it does feel like things are just a little bit, you know, we're on to our friends having their second kid now.
Yeah.
Second kid, like, and you know, looking around and all of a sudden everyone else is married and it's like, yeah, time just goes by. It's crazy. Um,
Time goes by so quickly. I see my friends, yeah, having all those life stages, and I'm like, I would be a child bride still. I'm convinced no matter what age I'd get married, I'd just feel like a child bride. How could I birth a child? I'm not like, all of that seems crazy.
I think
Crazy.
people probably feel that way too. Some people can rise above and whatever, but everyone, I'm sure, whoever, but it's like I'm sure they felt the same way. Where it's like, oh my God,
For
like
sure.
this is very scary.
Well, and
Um,
then I think, like, based on my girlfriends who have now had children, like I don't want to say like the idea of it, but at first it's very much like, okay, like we'll see what happens. Da, da, da. Then you actually get pregnant, and then it's like, oh shit, I
yeah.
will now have to become a mother and go through childbirth and like raise a family. So
No
then it's the, oh God, am I actually ready sort of thing. And I'm sure dads are
one
doing
ever
that to
feels
some
it. You
degree.
just have to, not the one who should talk about this or give advice because yeah, I'm the least childless man in America. So it's like, but yeah, I mean, everyone, I'm sure. I hear about it from them, like plenty of the guys. They like I've talked with them about when it first gets going and when they get closer. I've actually always tried to make a point of like when I know that our friends who have had kids, when they're getting
Mhm.
close, basically, I really try to make an effort to like in the months leading up, just like send them texts every once in a while and just reach out to them and be like, dude, like I'm so confident you're gonna be a great dad, like blah blah, because I'm sure they're
Oh,
just panicking,
yeah.
just being like, oh my God, like I'm in 6 weeks, like I'm have to, biologically change everything about me and just become something different, blah blah. So, uh,
Hmm.
strange, but they're
It
good.
is.
Yeah, no problems yet. I feel like they're all doing really well. So,
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's
yeah,
interesting. I feel like I could ask so many follow-up questions, but I'll
yeah,
hold off and I'll redirect things by saying, how did
yeah.
you even decide to go to Xavier? Was it just that you wanted to go somewhere new and where you didn't know a ton of people, or were there other things about like Cincinnati or Xavier that you
Yeah, there were
like?
a couple of things. I was actually born in Cincinnati, so I have some like my mom's
That's
cousins
right.
who are like technically my uncles. There's a guy there in particular. His name's Pat Gary, and that is my middle name. So my mom always tells me that she always jokes that like you're not named after that guy, but the evidence says otherwise. That my
Yeah.
name is Gary Holden. He's like the best guy I know. I love him. There are others as well, and I'm talking about him first. Not that he's the primary reason or anything, but the fact that I definitely knew that I wanted to lead the state. So I just felt like that was important. It was like someone got in my ear and was like, "You're about to. This is the most important decision you're ever going to make. You're going to grow up like don't go to Fairfield University where you're going to have 30 kids from your high school and you're going to be an hour and a half away from home and your parents can drive by unannounced. And some people that's the right fit, but for me, I was just like, yeah, I want to you know, I want a fresh start. Not that I didn't like where I was at or it was just more about like it was the importance of leaving home, I think. And then also had like quote unquote the home. Like I had people I could rely on if I needed it, like Pat being one of them. And there's my mom's cousins, all my aunts and uncles, but whatever, their family anyway. That I could lean on. And yeah, I mean, they gave me money. That was important. I still remember the guy who recruited me. His name was Jason Cloutier, like a French last name. He just made an impact on me. Like he came to my high school and he's like, I looked him up yesterday, actually, coincidentally. And he's still like the undergraduate director of recruiting or some title.
No way.
Um, and he just came to BCI, and I was interested in Xavier because I went to a Jesuit high school, and I mean, I'm not a religious person at all, but like you in the Jesuit high school system, they will naturally push you to Jesuit schools. But I just kind of, the more time I spent in Catholic education, the more I drifted away from that.
I think
Um,
that's everyone.
yeah,
For a lot
so
of people.
but yeah, the fact that it was Jesuit it was like a comfortable thing, and it was definitely impounded on me repeatedly because my dad actually went to my high school as well, and like the value of a Jesuit education is
Hmm.
like very strong. So I had a positive predisposition to Jesuit schools for that reason. And then yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there was one school I applied to early action. I thought I was like really considering. I got into it. Good thing I didn't go there. I wouldn't have fit in very well there at all. But and then once that happened, I was like, okay, well, like I think I'm either going to go here or go to Xavier. So I really only applied to two schools at that point. And then I don't know. I visited Xavier. I liked that it was like near a city, but also a campus. So you kind of got a little bit of the best of both. And yeah, I just liked it. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do this. Return to the roots, Cincinnati. I definitely, when I meet people now today, I definitely try to, you know, associate more with my Boston side. But Cincinnati is like for sure my second home, and I
Yeah.
like loved living there. A few years after school, it was like the perfect place to live. I feel like for a few years after college, it was the perfect city to be in because it was like I was paying $550 a month for rent, and I lived like 3 minutes from downtown. And, the people stuck around. It's like,
Yeah.
you're making a little bit of money now and having fun. Those are some good years.
For
And
sure.
then, and what happened? Time to go home.
Hmm. Hmm.
I picked it
Wow.
because it was just, I don't know, it just felt right. It wasn't,
Yeah.
my two little brothers. I don't know. When you were volleyball with Teddy. Is that
Hmm.
right? Yeah.
Hmm.
I've always joked that like I've told this joke so many times that if someone's listening to this who knows me, they've heard me say it. So sorry for the repeat. But they both Teddy and Robbie, who's the youngest, both went to Xavier as well, and which is kind of nice in a way. But also I joked that
Yeah.
if I knew they were going to follow me out there, I would have gone to Xavier or something before a little bit harder. Made my parents happy for sure.
That's funny. Huh.
And
I
I
even
still
forget
feel
where you lie in the sibling org, but I
yeah.
guess I can't imagine. So no one, one other girl from my high school went to Xavier, and we
Mhm.
like knew each other. We were friendly, but we weren't close in high school. So,
Mhm.
but like no Xavier representative coming to my school. So I'm so perplexed. Like what sort of thing did that guy say that really
I don't really remember. He just like
is just
I
more
just
the vibe?
Yeah, I just liked him. Yeah, I don't know. It was just the fact that he was a good dude. I
Hmm.
should probably call off this and let him know. Be like, dude, I was
Yeah.
saying
It
her
is,
part.
it's crazy who impacts us or like leads us, whatever it might be, leads us to some decision that is then like so
Yeah,
cool. You ended up, loving Cincinnati, meeting good friend, like doing all of that. To me, it's just so crazy to look back and who started that domino and how then things end up happening. It's
yeah,
like, it's so unpredictable. You could never
yeah.
try to
I
wrap
think
your head
I
around
think
it.
he was a New England guy, so we just like bonded over the shit that I bonded over everyone with, like, which is
Mhm.
mainly like the Bruins, and he was just I just liked him. I just remember being like that guy. You know, we got along, so I'm sure that helped the process as well. And I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I mean, if I look back on it, I mean, the money was for sure a part of it, and also Cincinnati, second home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Felt right.
It's funny. Gage said something similar in that he kind of just like applied to Xavier or something. And then, but it was Father Graham's speech on the first day after everyone had moved in. And he was like, yeah, it was very motivating. It was very like, I knew I had made the right decision. And I'm like, I don't remember
Yeah,
any of
I
those
don't know that at
things.
all either. So I'm glad. It seems like Gabe's listening. I'm just probably just thinking about
Right.
luck. I don't know, but
Whatever made the impact, I'm glad it did. But it's so funny. It's so crazy.
yeah. I
Wow.
mean, I have friends who went through transfers and shit happens, but I've never not thought I made the right choice.
Mhm.
If I could go back, I might make some different academic choices, maybe like different, whatever. But um,
You want to be the same major as me again? What
I
the
mean, I
hell,
have friends in
Pat?
health
No,
services
just
that
kidding.
no longer work out there, so it's kind of like, you know, it's not a huge regret, but maybe would have went abroad or maybe would have done some other stuff, whatever. But Xavier
Yeah.
itself, I mean, like, I feel very, very lucky. I think I've kept so many good friends from Xavier. Like, I don't think everyone's that lucky, basically. So, for that reason
No,
alone, um, right choice.
for
Yeah.
sure. Going into college, when you had to pick a major, what led you to health service administration? Or like kind of did you have a
It was like a family
career
trait.
path that you thought you would fall into? No.
Well, I mean, another thing, yeah, this is probably my type B, whatever, but I just did the least. Like, I'm sure I thought about it, and this is just kind of a retrospect thing, where you look back and you're like, oh, did you really think that hard about what you were doing? But so I can't really say with confidence, but I come from a healthcare family. Like my dad has had a very successful career. He's a healthcare executive, so it was a very pragmatic choice for me
Hmm.
to pick health services. And also, yeah, I mean, I'm a Democrat, and it was around that time where like we're you know passing the Affordable Care Act, and so like there were reasons where I could be like, yeah, like this is a very honorable career choice. I think we all, not all, but it's like you want to do something that you at least sort of feel like helps people, whether or not
Mhm.
like you're rescuing puppies or like doing something where it's just a good industry. And so like,
Mhm.
people are always going to be old and sick. It felt stable. And also it was like, yeah, this is like a noble, pursuit, so to speak.
For
And the
sure.
pragmatic aspect of like, yeah, I mean, if I do this, like, when I graduate, I'll be able to call up people who know my dad, who are, established professionals, and help me kind of
Yeah.
find a
Get in the
place,
door a little bit.
get in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
selfish
Hmm.
and unselfish reasons.
For sure.
Yeah.
I do remember, of course, learning all about like the Affordable Care Act and like insurance. And there were some parts of those classes that I still kind of remember, but I forgot about the part where it did, yeah, it felt noble in some way, or it was this grand thing of like, oh my God, could we actually like, and maybe it was being 20 too, like, oh my God, could we actually change the system? Could we
Yeah, I
actually
mean, I
like,
think it's funny you say that. Yeah, I mean that's it. Where it's like you stepping into something where like
hmm
this is a fucked up way we do things, and it's a fucked up way we do things now. And it's like, yeah, you want to get in, you want to be like a good person who gets into it. Not that I wasn't running for office. I wasn't. It's
you're
not
right.
that direct kind of thing. But I definitely remember that being like a motivating factor. Where it's like, yeah, you're stepping into your like you're growing up a little bit. Like it's the
hmm
classic thing. Kids go to high school and they just adopt the politics of their parents, and they go to college and they meet a bunch of new people and they start to think critically. And some people never change. Not, I don't want to make this a political discussion, but it's like some people just whatever. But other people, it's the typical, yeah, people go to college and become liberal. That's pretty standard, like
Yeah.
thing for a lot of people to do. So with the healthcare thing, it was like an easy connection between that,
hmm
for sure. Yeah, we might get
Yeah.
it right someday.
I
So
think I have a solid 60 something years, probably 62 left in me. So let's see.
yeah,
Let's see what happens.
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. But then you talked about staying in Cincy. Did you leave during COVID too? Because that's when I left, and I can't
Yeah,
remember
so
much
I
around that
started.
time.
What did we do? Like 2017.
hmm
Lived with Hayes for a few years. Those were some good years. Me and Hayes in an apartment together, Walnut Hills, East Walnut Hills, whatever.
That's right.
Yeah, we kind of like. I remember weird time, but we like splurged. We had a budget, and then like we found this apartment that we liked, and whatever. And it was actually Hayes' mom who found it. We just kind of splurged a little bit, which sounds absurd to say that like we splurged for an $1,100 apartment. We were like, oh, it's a little bit more we wanted to pay, but like look at how nice it is. Good, look at all this space.
hmm
Blah blah. Absurd. I wonder what that apartment goes for now. Like I want to know because
I want to know so bad. Yeah.
one
Like,
and then
do college apartments, we paid like what? I think it was $300 a month.
yeah,
Like, what is that now? I mean, it was a shitty house.
we got out.
Iconic.
I think I've often sometimes thought about how we're like. I mean, obviously not for everything, but in some ways the perfect age where like we escaped a little bit of
No, I think 100%.
yeah, like kids who are 3 years, 4 years, 5 years younger than us like are dealing with a lot of challenges that we didn't. We all deal with the same stuff, but like they're getting it more acutely than we did. But
hmm
yeah, no, I went back. Like I moved back probably like right at the beginning of April. Like COVID started in March, and I remember like St. Patrick's Day being the like if you read the news, you knew it was coming by Christmas because those people
Yeah.
were like, we're not prepared for the disruption, and like if you so I knew I was like, okay, well this is a problem. Like we're like it's coming, blah blah. But it wasn't until March, and I remember St. Patrick's Day being the day where it was like some people went out on St. Patrick's Day, and I was like, you guys are wrong. Like,
Oh,
like
I was one of them.
yeah,
Honestly,
it doesn't make sense,
it
but
was
it's
so fun to,
yeah,
not so
it was
fun.
last hurrah, whatever. Like, yeah,
Immediate regrets the next
yeah.
day because of everything that was then happening. But yeah, kind of still glad I did it because
I
truly
mean,
last hurrah.
yeah, no judgment or anything. I just remember that was the way I was feeling at the time. I
Yeah,
was like, made the choice. I was like, no, I'm staying in
not
at
doing
home,
it.
and yeah, so I think my parents actually got very, very lucky. They did the classic, like, okay, all the kids went to college. Let's move into a smaller house and put a bedroom on the first floor, and like downgrade, so to speak. And they were putting like the finishing touches on this house like right around that time, basically. And they missed like the shutdown window for the contractors and all. I don't know anything about building a house, but they just barely finished this. So like it was the perfect like, oh, let's all move home, kind of thing. So like a lot of
hmm
people, go back to a high school time in your life where you're living with your family again. So I moved here during April. I don't remember how long I stayed because I kept the apartment in Cincy at that time, and I was still working for Cincy Children's, just like remotely. Um, I don't remember. This is the part where, yeah, COVID, the time, what the hell happened? I don't know. Like, so I stayed here for some time. I went back to Cincy once like bars were kind of. It wasn't like COVID was over, but like bars were open again, and there was some sort of semblance of like a normal life where you could like see your friends. I don't really remember if that was before or after the vaccine. Maybe a year and a half. Yeah, hard to say. And then I stayed in Cincy for like maybe another year or so, spending a lot of time with, Kevin and you and, Tori
Hmm.
Beth, everyone, fun time.
Hmm.
But I also knew that it was time for me I wasn't enjoying working at Children's anymore, and I didn't want to stick around. So I think I don't remember exactly when I moved back, sometime
Hmm.
during the summer or so.
Yeah.
So we had another year in Cincy. So it was like a little bit of both. I came back here for a time, went back to Cincy for a little bit, and then came back here. I think I moved. Yeah, I think I would live at home for a little bit while I was like looking for apartments and stuff, and then, uh, you know, then got out of there. Not too long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's that
good
time
time.
and everything. It's crazy. And I think that unfortunately, that COVID time
Yeah,
maybe is what I more so associate, or like the great escape out of Cincinnati is kind of more, I think, of what I associate post grad with. But there were so many, like in the from like 2017 to like 2019, that was peak post grad, where yes, I don't think anyone younger than us has been able to really experience it quite like that, where things were still
yeah.
affordable. Like it didn't feel like it, but like they were.
Went hard,
We
went
could
hard.
go out, yeah,
All just
hang out with all your friends,
yeah.
do like yeah, the weekend we were still going out like 2, 3 days a week, all hanging out with each other and stuff. Like, yeah, it was so
You're
fun.
lucky. And I think even like I've often thought about the people, that it's like, oh, you're a junior in college or a senior in college. Actually just met my brother's girlfriend because she's like that age basically. She's probably like 28 right now. I don't know, but um, she like was a junior, and you go away for like the shutdown, so to speak, part of COVID happened like right around March and April, so it was like spring break. So it's like imagine being a junior, senior in college, and you're like building it up with that girl or that other, like whoever, you're like, oh my God, like, or your friends, doesn't matter what the situation is, but like you go away for spring break and you're like, oh, I'm gonna see him soon, no problem. Nope. Like closed, like, and then your college experience is over. Like if you're a senior, that's just it. And
Hmm.
if you were a junior, your year was over, and then the next year was remote, and it's just like, damn, like
Yeah,
that. I feel so bad for them. That's terrible. Like I to miss out on that, tragic,
for
So
real.
I feel like we were there's no good age to have something like that happen, but for us it was like a few years out of college, we got some money. I just hung inside and played video games and ordered pizza.
Yeah.
It wasn't the like I could
What a
still
life.
do. Like it wasn't that bad, honestly. Like I did my part. Obviously, it wasn't. I'm not trying to. It was not the the greatest, but
You don't want to go back.
yeah, I think like relatively speaking, yeah, whatever that cruise ship virus is
I
right
know.
now, yeah, we're good. I'm not worried about that. It was just like I think we were kind of the perfect age because even like yeah, little
For
kids
sure.
like behind at school to be old during that time. Oh my God, like how sick,
Hmm.
like like
Yeah.
it's so I just feel like we not that it wasn't good for anyone, but I do feel lucky in that way that we were.
So lucky. So lucky that, yeah, I even think about, I mean, I feel like I talk about this all the time, but like when social media hit and like when people started getting phones and things, we were maybe on the younger side, but it still was like appropriate, or it wasn't so negatively impacting all of us. And yeah, I just feel like with all of these insane life events, they're happening at like, yeah, the perfect time. There's maybe never a perfect time, but how lucky.
Yeah,
How
lucky,
lucky.
lucky.
Yeah.
Be grateful. I think that's kind of the way I think about it. I'm like, it could have been worse. A lot of people had it a lot worse. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So you went to college, ended up in Cincinnati, not like loving what you were doing for work, but now we have a new gig. So tell me about the new job, what you're doing, and the 180 job switch.
yeah, I'm like I did a 180. I would it almost feels like a 720, like freaking like kickflip, like complete change. Yeah. When I moved back since I worked for like Mass Health, and there's a consulting company that like partners really closely with them, and it was like some COVID response stuff and just finance and product management, whatever. It was a fine job to get me back here, but also yeah, just work from home, you get bored. Like wasn't wasn't enough. So I yeah pulled a ripcord. I thought about a couple different paths. I've been looking around for a while, but I took a job um, with like Northwestern doing financial planning. It's fun. It's challenging. it's basically like build, it's you're building up your own business basically. Like I'm not an employee of them. It's like I started it. And yeah, it's been like a drastic lifestyle change. Where now on Saturdays I wake up and I do yoga, and
Mhm.
previously I just sleep in. But it's fun. It's drastically different than what I did before, and very much like a pull the ripcord and just start over, something new kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm excited about it. It's a weird, I guess it's a weird feeling, and we were talking earlier about like the growing up thing, and like time just goes by, and yeah, I mean, I don't think like I was never someone who was super activated by work, like I was like, I'm going, like I liked working in children's and I liked these other jobs, but it never really, and maybe this is a retrospect thing again, but I was like giving my 85% or 80% and then going home and being
Yeah.
happy. This is something
Hmm.
where you do that, you will just fail.
Hmm.
So it's like you got to just go all out. And it's early days, but I'm off to a good start, and yeah, it's fun.
Good. Good.
Um, you know,
It's like that challenge. I feel like, maybe you can look at a job or what I've done too in the past where it's like, okay, I know what's expected of me, or like I can do this. Something might come up, some email might anger me, but like
yeah,
we'll get over it, we'll figure it out. But when there's an actual challenge that comes up in work or that in outside of life, yeah, it kind of like reignites you and you're like, oh, wait, I can
yeah,
either rise to this or I can't. And do I want to try that? Or does that then get me motivated to keep expanding this or taking the risk to do more? So,
that's kind of what alerted me to it. Honestly, is like I knew that like this is a lot to admit, but honestly, because I was looking for change, and one thing I kind of considered like not too long ago was law school too, and it's like, oh my God, like that would have been 3 years of school, no money, no like a huge challenge basically, blah blah, and ultimately walk that path. But with this, it was like they just tell you up front how difficult it is. And it's like, yeah, most people fail, like most people can't do it, and I think some of that is people start when they're younger. I can't imagine how difficult it is to do this job when you're 22 or 23. Just call people and they're like, dude, what do you mean you want to talk about it? Like, my Roth 401k or whatever. So I think, I have some advantages, hopefully, that'll, the fact that I'm like an adult, at least, like the people that I have in my network, so to speak, are like, having kids, having, this is the kind of thing that is a very valuable uh, thing. So that helps. And yeah, I mean, I was just like the fact that they tell you that, yeah, I mean, like this is so hard, but if you just do what we tell you to do, you can't fail, kind of thing. And most people, get burnt out or, do whatever. But I just decided, like, I knew anything that I was going to start over with, so to speak, was going to be that deal. And so when they just tell it to you up front, they're like, yeah, this kind of sucks for a year, like 2 years. But if you stick with it, like down the road, the payoff is really immense. So I appreciate that. I was like, yeah, cool. Tell me it sucks, because don't lie to me.
no, no.
Like, so yeah, the challenge of it, it's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm shocked how quickly like doing the thing I was doing before. I was just working from home, so like, you just sleep in till 9, and start working at 9:30, and like I would do all my work, and it was fine, good employee, so to speak, whatever. But it was just like,
Not
no one,
engaging.
yeah, not engaging. I knew what I had to do. Some days I would work, work from 9 to 12, go work out, come back, work from 3 to 7, whatever.
Hmm.
But with this, it's like you just gotta be laser focused. You can't do it. Office is nice. The people are great. That helps too.
Good.
A lot of support there. They know how difficult it is. So if you go to someone and you're like, oh, I'm anxious about this or I'm struggling with that, it's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, of course you are. Like, here's how we fix that kind of thing. So
Hmm.
I feel very lucky to be part of like this is cheesy, but it's like it's a really great organization, really.
No,
Like,
that's what matters though.
yeah. So
I work with people, I manage like 30 people, and I
mhm,
feel like this is in general some way of the conversation that I have with them every time I speak with them where it's like, okay, do you like your team? Do you like the culture? Like the work is going to be the season of work, whether it's really challenging, maybe it's a little light right now so that you're a little bored, or like the work is whatever the work is, but do you like your team? Do you have the support? Do you like the culture? Those are things when you're looking for a new job, like
yeah,
it's so hard. You never know.
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be able to do it if I was like not enjoying being there every day. Which is so it's
Hmm.
like I'm in the office 5 days a week, and it's like talk about, yeah, complete change.
180. Yeah.
One. yeah, it's a nice building, it's nice people, so like that I like being there, you know, and I like I'm off to a good start, which is fun and exciting, you know. I'm not trying to
Motivating.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's motivating, but it's also like yeah, it's the down days, you know, like it's Saturday when I'm like, huh, what could I be doing right now? Like what could
Hmm.
I, blah blah, and I have less of like a structure to it. That's when I like get a little or have a tendency to get a little anxious and just a little like
Yeah,
this. So I'm trying to work on my relaxing right now, basically.
that's fair. But it's
Trying to,
to
yeah.
your point, I think yes, in your 20s are great for so many reasons, but when we like what I found in 30 is you're okay with trying because you tried the first path and for whatever
Yeah.
reason you're like, okay, I knew what I was getting into. I know that I needed a change, but that
Mhm.
change has to be a drastic one. It's not just like a new gig doing the same sort of thing. It has to be something where there's maybe a little risk or like I have to evolve or just do something totally different. But then you have the wherewithal to be like, okay, well, this part is hard right now. I don't know if it always will be, or so let's tap them on the shoulder, see if there's anything more I can do. Or, like, yeah, I mean, your frontal lobes develop, so that's a huge part of it, probably too. But, like, I mean, I am really proud of you, Pat. It is so hard to make that change to try something new, and especially when it is such a gamble. Like,
Mhm.
it's a challenge, and not a lot of people do that. A lot of people still like play it safe. So,
Yeah.
good
Well,
job.
this is thank you. I appreciate that. This is it's getting like yeah, it's a lot of things that are change. I have to like previously it was easy for me to kind of you know withdraw or whatever, just like be fine. Like, but this is very much like a put yourself out there kind of like thing where it's like you just gotta like be willing to embarrass yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
People you don't want to call. I've called people that I'm like fuck. I
Hmm.
don't want to call this person. But you do,
Hmm.
and it's nice because even the ones I'm thinking maybe this is like an age thing too. Some of the people that you call that you never expect, they're like, oh dude, like fuck off. But I haven't had any of that. Everyone's like it's like someone's like, oh my god, like it's been so long, how you doing? Like and whether they're interested or whether they're not, like you book some of the people you never think you'd be able to like, get in front of, so to speak, and that's exciting. And then other people are even if they're not interested, they're like, oh dude, like I appreciate the call and like I actually will keep and like I'd prefer, when the time comes for me to like think about this kind of thing, to like to do it with someone I like and trust, whatever. So like I'll keep you in mind, call me in 6 months, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you get surprised by that, and like that's like a little empowering. I'm sure at some point I'll call someone and they'll be like, "Fucking delete my number," which is fine. You
Yeah.
just move on. But
But
for the most
until
part, it's
then,
like very positive experiences. So it's like kind of reconnecting with people. So
yeah,
um,
that's
it's
awesome.
yeah, it's very different, and it's the willing. I think the part of it that someone got to me with is like, if you wanna, you got to be willing to like put yourself out there because the obstacle is the way. Like you have to be willing to like embarrass yourself a little bit. Like shit, like people who, it's like I don't want to say shame because shame's not accurate, but it's just like you got to be willing to like, yeah, put yourself out there. Otherwise, you're just gonna be,
Try.
yeah, you got to try. You got to like go for it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I was
it's a
going to
big
ask
difference.
how it feels putting yourself out there because I mean, I think side note to like market the podcast a little bit, you would really like Morgan's World. We talk a lot about this. She had done kind of a similar thing where she knew corporate like wasn't working for her. She went into this life coach thing, but it was just like she knew she needed to change. It would be hard. And I just feel like we're talking about similar things and in my head I keep just reverting back to things that she said in it. So like side
Mhm.
note, maybe check that out.
Deal.
But putting yourself out there is incredibly difficult, whether it's giving someone a call to like try to sell them something to catch up with something or
Yeah.
like there is just like the embarrassment. Maybe it's trying something new because as adults we like rarely try new shit or whatever. So, how does it feel now? Are you getting a little bit more comfortable with it? Is there still like the initial like gut punch of it?
So, I think the gut punch was there, like
Yeah.
for I don't even know how long I'm into it now. I mean, I've learned a lot, which is helpful, but it's like
Hmm.
um, definitely the first like few weeks. I mean, I got off to a good start like immediately, so it wasn't like panic mode or anything. But like, yeah, you have those days where you're like, "What the fuck have I done?"
For sure.
Like, yeah. But that's very, I think
But
I've
that's
always,
like any sales job too. Like,
yeah, where it's just kind of, yeah, for sure. No salary right now. So it's like that was the risk. You talk about the risk part of it.
mhm.
It's like, yeah, I was in a boat before this. Might not have been a great boat, but it was a boat. But then I had jumped off of it, and I'm like swimming to the fucking island, and I hope I get there. But it's like,
Yeah.
I took that's the risk part of it. It was a risk in sticking with what I was doing too. But
Exactly. Yeah.
um, yeah, I think like I had one day in particular. I'll be honest. Like it was maybe my first or second Saturday where I just like kind of had a little bit of a breakdown. I was like,
Hmm.
or the weight of like it like really was like, whoa, dude. Like you've like really, you're so things are so different for you than they were 2 months ago, and it just felt like, oh my God. But I feel, I think the longer it goes, the better I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, I don't.
Though, yeah, I think if you didn't have that though, it would be
It'd be weird. Yeah, it's perfectly
not big
legal.
enough of a change maybe that you
Yeah,
need, or I
yeah.
I don't know.
I
It would be
like,
weird if you didn't have that feeling, I
yeah,
guess.
for sure. I definitely can fall back on the logic of it. Yeah, it would be strange if I wasn't feeling this way. Like, of course you are, and like, here's what to do, here's who to talk to, blah blah.
Hmm.
Trying to keep myself like active, or whatever. I think is
For
part of
sure.
it. I'd
Our
mentioned that.
mind's
Yeah,
very powerful, so you
yeah.
can stay ahead of it.
That's with him a few times. It's like my good friend's wife teaches the classes, and I've been spending this more time at home lately.
Yeah.
And they live around here, so like now that I'm kind of down here more often and just spending time with folks, like I'm kind of run out of excuses not to do it. Like, I
Hmm.
gotta come to our morning class, and it's actually been pretty good for me. Like it's like just
Yeah.
yeah, like
So
I
you're
wake up.
loving it? Tell me more about it.
Yeah, I've only done it a few times, but I wake up at 5:30 or 6 during the weekdays. So like the weekends, I'm even if I'm up a little bit later, I'm still waking up by like 7 at the latest, and it's kind of like okay, don't go back to bed. So something I get up and do.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean the guy, his name's Will, is my oldest friend, and his wife teaches it. So it's like yeah, okay, I'll come. It's
That's so fun.
so I'm just getting schooled by old ladies,
Yeah.
basically for, like, for an hour, but. The first time was it wasn't they're not that hard classes. I've done it a few times, but the first time it's like I haven't with this change I haven't had a ton of time to be working out lately, so it was like muscles I don't normally work out. First time working out in a while, my legs were just fucked afterwards. I was like, oh my God.
Is it like a heated class? Is it like a
She
like
does
what
that,
sort
but
of
this one,
class?
yeah, she does the heated stuff, but these ones are just, whatever, on a mat
Hmm. It's
doing.
fun. I love yoga. I got into yoga like the summer before college, I think, but wow. I
But
can't wait to talk to you like if you keep up with this for like a year, just the differences that you'll feel, the maybe the even more gratitude you'll start
yeah,
to.
maybe.
I
I
feel
think
like I am a granola. I mean, I've always been very granola, I think in some ways, but wow, when I get back on my like meditating kick, my yoga kick, like you'll be annoyed of me and I'm very aware of that, but I don't care.
yeah. I mean, I'll keep you posted on my progress. It's
You want to know what's so annoying to me though about the men who come into the yoga classes where I know they haven't been doing it very long, but then they can just like whip out some like not balance pose, but like just a pose that has a little bit more strength to it and like it grinds my gears. But
sorry, man.
whatever. It's fine.
Can't
So
do anything.
if you start doing more of those like harder poses, I
Yeah,
will just be jealous and
yeah.
if
Well,
you're
I'll
able to
tell you, man.
accomplish
I'll
them.
just keep that. Yeah, I'll just keep that to myself.
So until then, but
Okay.
okay,
Cool.
so your 30s, like what has been surprising to you about your 30s? There's been a job switch, now you're doing yoga. Like, is there anything else about your 30s that you're just like, wow, this is great. I wasn't expecting this, or just anything that surprised you about the decade so far?
Um, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I feel the same. I don't know. It's hard to say. There's been a lot of change. Like things that have happened, since 30s or whatever is like you see friends grow up, and it's been really one thing I've really noticed that I've it's been really nice is um I feel very I mentioned this already, like lucky to have the friends I have. I also feel lucky to have I really love all of the people that my friends have like chosen as partners, basically. Like that's an important thing. I don't think everyone kind of
Yeah.
gets that. Like it's the men that
Yeah.
my women friends have ended up with, and it's the women that that the guys have picked. So I'm like, but that's been really awesome.
It is
Uh,
cool to see.
yeah, just more
Hmm.
friends, easy. You like lost people. That's been a hard part of it. You get a little bit older, you start to kind of, I but you get that part of it too. Um, Yeah, I don't know.
How do you like prioritize your friendships? Because I think for me, it like
Yeah.
looks a little different now because people are married, they have families, like just connecting with them, prioritizing those relationships is looks
Yeah.
different than it did. So
It
how
gets
do you
hard.
do that?
Yeah, it gets harder. That's one thing that I'm really like when I think about, you asked me about like daydreaming. It's like, yeah, so I know time goes by and you lose friends and, life gets harder, blah, blah, but I really hope and I'm hopeful that like as, we go through this life that I'll be lucky enough to hold on to a lot of really good friends. Prioritize it. I mean, I don't know. It's how I'm lucky with Julie here. Like she's probably the close, like she's as far as like people I've
Without
seen.
Julie, yeah,
Yeah,
it
we're
would
not
be
doing
hard.
that. No. Well, we'll see if she listens to this whole thing. I think she
Oh,
will.
she will.
She will.
She
Okay.
will.
Hi, Julie. Yeah, I
Shout out
mean,
Julie.
she's like a friend that I like. We were good friends at Xavier too, but like after the few years of Xavier, like relationship ended. Hayes moved to Chicago. It was kind of a tough place, and like Julie really picked me up. And like I knew all you guys anyway, but like I became a lot closer to all of you.
For sure.
Like in that year, or whatever. And that's probably the best thing
I
we've had.
think college Audrey would be like, you still talk to Pat?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No, that's so. I I owe Julie a debt that I could never repay, I think. And
oh,
like having her close to me in Boston, like we're both Boston people, we both want to stay here. Like she's my day-to-day friend closest,
mhm.
I have plenty of best friends, I'd say, but like I'd see her the most and we do a lot of stuff together. So she's like, as far as whatever, prioritizing friends, like the person I'm seeing more than anyone
Yeah.
else. I have other
She
good friends.
keeps you connected with so many people too. With her little
Yeah, for
call
sure.
updates, she can tell
Yeah.
you everything that's happening with everyone.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. So I've met other people through Julie as well too that I like, which is nice. But and I have other like I have good friends here who are well, one's a single guy. We were roommates for a bit. He's busy with work, but we see each other now and again. And then I mentioned other friends married down here. I'm really close with his family too, so I see all them often.
That's fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have like a priority system or whatever. But you
There's
try to
no
just
hacks, just however it
yeah. There's
works,
no hacks. You just
however
gotta
it flows.
yeah, it gets harder as time goes on. Like, this summer I'll be at Spencer's bachelor party and I'll see him get married. He's coming to Boston soon too. I don't know if I'm gonna catch him. He's here for another wedding. But you just gotta, you it'll be tougher with the people who are having kids, but I don't know, you just gotta try.
But
Yeah.
it's like at least for me, I'm instead of thinking about, oh, how different it is, I'm more so just prioritizing like this is what I can get from them right now, or like this is what our relationships are, like
Yeah.
how lucky that in their free moments they're
Yeah.
willing
I mean,
to
we're
hang
all
out.
always, connected on the phone.
Hmm.
So, like even with the ones who are busy, like, with the kids, like we're still in touch. And there are
Hmm.
there are little things like obviously, we're all in a little fantasy football league that keeps us close, but like there's almost even another little offshoots where there's a few of us who are like really into movies and we keep, we just have a little group chat that we keep in touch with and share what we watch with each other. And then there's a couple others that are like, we're the hockey guys and we talk about hockey and, so I think my dream, would be, well, we're so rich, not, you don't have to be rich for this, but like I've seen these articles and stuff like that, like people who I don't think they all like buy one big house together or anything like that, but like they
Hmm.
like have a little cul-de-sac community or like they build their
Yeah.
own little retirement community basically and they all just live together. And to me, like that would be like the life, where it's like your 10 closest friends or six,
It'd be
whatever.
amazing.
That's a little your own little community somewhere else and you spend time together when you're at retirement age. That seems like I'm very envious of those people.
Yeah.
Those people have like made it in life where they're like, wow, they made friends they kept forever and they all just decided that they just want to be together. Like,
Hmm.
so I think,
Goals, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
For sure. I feel like it's hard for me to dream about that because then I get really like, I
I
really
mean,
want it. I really want it. And then I'm like, wait, where would we all live? We can't
yeah,
decide. Like, everyone's across every different part of the country. Like, I don't know where we would decide to live, but
yeah.
it would be
We got
so
like
fun.
about 30 years to figure that out. So
Yeah,
it's,
that's
but
true.
you're right. That's why
That's true.
I mean, you gotta get lucky. Like,
Yeah.
so.
What else are you daydreaming about? Is that the like biggest, loudest daydream, or are you daydreaming of anything else?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like you asked me to think about it, so that's what I thought about. I wouldn't say I, quote unquote daydream all that often, but I think if I like this is silly, but what if I were to daydream about something, yeah, I mean I would really love to see the Bruins win the Stanley Cup again. That was,
Yeah.
that was meaningful to me. Like I
I
would,
had money that your dream world would be around something
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I think the biggest purchase I ever made basically was in 2019. They made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. I was living in Cincinnati at the time, and they were playing in a game seven. And it was like winner take all, and I was just like, I fucking have to go. Like I have to be there, and I did, and I lost, and that shit sucked. But I'd do it again tomorrow. But like,
Maybe.
yeah, I would. That would be nice. That's something that, like, you grow up around Boston, you're indoctrinated into kind of this cult of, like, like I'm obviously a very lucky sports fan, so to speak, where, like, yeah, I grew up watching Tom Brady and, the Red Sox won 4 World Series and all that stuff, but the Bruins are the ones that are, like, in my heart. And, like, best memories growing up are, like, going to games with my mom and dad, and, you know, that would be great. Want another Stanley Cup, and I could share that with all the people that all the people here that I care about. I think if, I came into $5 million tomorrow or whatever, or $10 million, I could actually just, like, go off the interest and, whatever. I'd probably still keep working. But
Yeah.
I'd be buying a house in the South End and buying South End of
Season
Boston.
tickets. Yeah.
Season tickets. And Julie could take me to the Red Sox games, and I could take her to the Bruins games, and that'd be a fair
A great
exchange.
day. So you said you don't really daydream. That's so interesting to me. So what are you thinking about? Are you just thinking about like day to day? Or are you just thinking about like your running to-do list? And I get that maybe now it's a little
Mhm.
hard to ask that question given that, we're figuring out work or like that's kind of a priority in our brain right now. But like then I feel like I'm daydreaming 80% of my day. So what are you
I don't know.
thinking
I mean, I'm
about?
thinking about, if my mind's wandering, I'm thinking about, like, oh, when's that band gonna go back on
Mm,
tour? Or
mhm.
one thing I do to occupy myself actually when I'm, like, not working or whatever, and this has been nice. I actually, like, been making monthly playlists for some of the guys and slowly getting, which is silly, but slowly getting more, not the making of it, but the fact that I'm, like, almost kind of shy about it, like, slowly getting more confident, like, sharing it with people. Being like, here, I do this every month. It's like 2 hours. It's new music. It's other stuff I might not have heard. Blah blah. I kind of feel like it's just money. So that's my um little, like, side project or whatever. If I'm, like, out for a walk after work, or I'm, like, on the drive home, that's kind of when I just, like, try to go into discovery mode and
Yeah,
find stuff. So
that's good.
yeah, I don't know, but I'm thinking about, like, daydreams. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I want to stay here in Boston. That's another reason for the change. Whereas, like, if I was, like, I knew that if I want to be here in this big, crazy expensive city, that, like, you gotta start, you know, something's got to change. You're
Yeah.
gonna get priced out eventually. So it's like I think about, making that work for me. That'd be nice.
Hmm.
I don't know if that'll be the way that it goes. It's not the end of the world. I think if I were going to move, I'd have to move to, like, whatever, Chicago or somewhere where I, like, knew people. I couldn't. Oh, I'm going to move to name any city where I.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I would be too easy for me to just withdraw, and just play video
Yeah.
games all day long and not, like, read
Hmm.
and just make no friends. So yeah, I think about staying here for
I
sure.
guess that's interesting. A part of me wonders if you made that comment about like, wanting to stay in Boston. When I think about long term and like money,
Mhm.
like in the back of my head, I'm like, well, I'll be like, my husband will have some sort of income. So
Yeah,
like that's okay, like whatever.
I'll try
But
to
like
manage it. So
I'm sure there's a different pressure, a different mindset to it when you think about that, like long term financial planning, especially maybe
a little
now.
bit, a little bit. I think, yeah. I mean, you think about, I don't know. It's 2026. I'm a progressive man. Women can make money too, but there is something about being the guy. You're kind of expected to. There's, like, that societal whatever. Got to be the provider. So it's. I didn't really. I don't. I would say I, like, whatever, stew on that or anything or think about it. It's more just about me. Like, I would let I know that I have to, as we all do. You can't count on. Not, sorry to break your heart, but you can't count on the rich husband. That'd be nice. I'm rooting for you.
Oh,
But
I'm making money.
yeah,
That's
good,
I will
perfect.
not be making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'm not a trust fund kid. Like, I was lucky. I didn't have, like, student loans and stuff. I'm not like, I'm luckier than most, but I'm not like, there's not this crazy parachute waiting for me where I know that I'm gonna be
Right.
set forever. Like, if I want to stay here and live the life I want to live, which I would say I live pretty frugally anyway. Like, I'm not like a big, you know, I'm not a big spender, but um, if I want to be here, I have to make it work for sure.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
part. That's at least part of the calculus. Absolutely.
Makes sense.
There's something about breathing the air around here. You just feel like you're better than everyone else, you know? But coastal elitism is a real thing. So I want to stay here where,
Where you can feel that every day.
most people went to college, and I don't have to worry about some fucking Republican ruining my life. We're chilling out here in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll
I'm
see.
just being funny. Yeah, but
We'll see. I know. I
I
know.
look here. This is my home. Like Cincinnati, I love too, but like this is where I want to be. I want to be
Yeah.
in Boston.
Fair.
So
Fair. Well, the
it's
daydream of the getting all of us to retire in the same cul-de-sac.
yeah. We can go to Florida or something for that. I don't need. I don't need that's. I'm not pulling everyone. Maybe not Florida, but I'm
I
just
will
saying.
not go to Florida.
Yeah,
My foot is down.
that part of it, the location wouldn't matter. Just think if I'm with my friends. Like if we were all gonna move to whatever, some random city. That's cool. I
Some
could,
random city in Wisconsin. Honestly, it could be kind of
yeah,
fun. Like,
yeah, that'd be fun. So it's not that part's separate. I could definitely move somewhere else for that. But
yeah.
for the
Yeah.
rest,
Fair.
in the meantime, I like New
Yeah.
England.
So that's like not our reality, and that's a long time away. So, do you have a small win that you want to celebrate in the meantime to help? I don't
Small
know,
one.
get some motivation or to so it's not so sad.
Yeah. I mean, I think we kind of like covered some of this stuff, but obviously the new job is like dominating my life right now. Like
Hmm.
my social life is shrank. I'm like not trying to date. I'm not trying to like I'm cool with it. Like
Yeah.
I'm enjoying being focused on what I'm doing right now. Um, I think I've kind of been impressed with myself a little bit at how quickly I've like uh, adapted. Like previously with the new job, it was crazy. Like my sleep schedule was so bad. I would go to bed at 1 a.m. I'd wake up at like 9, and I was like wake up at 8:30 if I had to. And with this, it's like no, I'm like up and at 'em at
Yeah.
6, and I'm doing it. So I think that part was the one part I was anxious about. I was like, oh my God, dude, how are you gonna like you know put on a sport coat every day and actually go to the office? But no. I feel actually I'm like working. I'm productive at 8 a.m., which previously to me would have been like the middle of the night. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, that part's good. What
Well, good
else?
for you.
Yeah.
I mean, yoga, trying that, putting yourself out there every day. I mean, there's like a lot of small wins, I feel
Yeah,
like.
no, I mean, I feel good. It's nice. Like I think, uh,
Sharing the playlist with more of your friends,
yeah.
giving people
For
maybe a
one,
little bit more exposure to your
yeah.
hobby.
So
Win.
embarrassed to admit this, but it's like I remember like one person in particular. I wasn't sharing it with Madison because like oh like Madison's got great taste. She doesn't need me like centered a little blah blah blah, which was such a silly thing. Like it's so dumb to for me to think that. So um I think maybe next step is just start like posting on my story or something. At least only for the for a few people, not for everyone. I would never do that.
Close friends.
Yeah, what ramp up period? We'll see.
Hmm.
But just little things.
Yeah, I love it. Well, congrats. Look at you go, Pat. Year ago, you would have been like, what the hell, man?
True, true. I feel the same. It's weird. Well, I mean, obviously not like the same, but like with the age thing, I do like day to day. I feel the same as I've always felt. But um, it's weird shifting the tides. We are all getting a little bit older.
Yeah.
Um, and
We're starting to see like what our 50-year-old self, 70-year-old self might look like. And it's like,
yeah, I'm kind of
okay.
okay with it. I don't
I'm
know. I think
okay with it, but it's sometimes I'm like, shit, that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I think there's definitely like natural anxiety of like I was never someone who got anxious about the birthdays or anxious about that. I think I know I'm a pretty lucky dude. So um, a lot of things I could be worried about, stressed about that I don't have to think about. And whatever. We all age. Everyone who's ever lived has aged and died, at least to some degree. But
Guaranteed.
so if they can do it, so can I.
Yeah,
What's the problem?
for
Like
real.
yeah. Mm.
Well, Pat, thanks for taking time out of your day to chat.
Of course. Now I probably need to study, and this is a great way to not do that for an hour. So,
Yeah,
I appreciate it for sure.
yeah.
Curious. Is it like do you post the whole video, or like is it only the audio? Because Spotify has like there are podcasts that just post the videos, right? Is it like where it's like
Yeah, I think I need to like, be like sponsored by Spotify to do that.
right?
But I post the video on YouTube and then the audio on Apple, Spotify, and iHeartRadio to share with all your friends and
I'll
put
give
it on your playlist.
yeah,
Just kidding.
that would be fun. That would be actually be that's funny. I could do that. That'd be a good prank. That would be a good way to test if they're actually listening.
Yeah,
Like you can see when they save it.
I can't look at the metrics. That's like I get two in my head. So if two
My
people listen, that's all I care about.
yeah, Julie will listen,
Yeah,
and a few
I
others, I'm
hope.
sure. Gage
We'll
was the
see.
one who was like my changed it for me when I saw Gage went on. I'm like, ah, all right, I'll do it.
Fine.
Yeah.
I know. Well, and I think Dave will be on after you.
Alina, oh my God,
I know.
Dave, that's brilliant. I would
Hmm.
not want to follow Dave up. So let's go. You,
Well,
you chose the right order.
look at the timing.
I've been in
That's
touch
how
with
it happened that way.
I've been in touch with Dave a lot lately, which has been nice. Because
Oh,
he's been hooking me up with a grill and also with their move to Cleveland. But
yeah. Nice. I love
love Dave.
it. Pat's World, everyone. Very Pat coded. That sounds obvious, but I don't know. It was very Pat coded episode to me today. It was so fun. I have so many questions about like growing up with brothers, which we didn't get into today, and being one of four. What a household. His mom, shout out. Have a lot of love for you, girlfriend. One thing I would like to highlight about that I wanted to talk about growing up with brothers and all of that, but I missed my shot, was Pat actually talks about his emotions and things. Great. You would not expect that out of an all boy household. Fun little fact, I did go on a date with someone. This was months ago at this point. And they too grew up in an all boys household. And I told them that my dad had sent me some health thing. And that man thought that that was incredibly vulnerable, that that was crazy to do, and that it was just like mind boggling that my dad would be providing that information or talking about that, which I think is crazy. Like, what? That's vulnerable to you? Anyway, all of that to say, so glad that Pat came out of the all boys household and he can talk about being anxious, being stressed, talking about needing help, support, and doing all of those things. So great job, Pat. It's great when you could do those sorts of things. But it was so fun reminiscing and hearing more about Pat's experience, like in 30s, seeing these changes with your friends. I love that he's reaching out to the dads to be in their coming months, showing signs of support, telling them how much he knows that they'll be great at it and everything. Like, we need hype people in our lives. Thanks for your support, Pat, and coming on to the episode today. And thanks for all of you listeners for supporting, tuning in, listening. Thank you. If you would like to support even more, you can like, rate, review, subscribe, or follow on whatever platform you're listening. That could be Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or even YouTube. Like and follow or comment, share with your friends. Like, share this episode with your friends. Pass the link around. Why not, right? So those are some ways that you can support the podcast extra. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. On Instagram, that would be at _ Oddrey's World, ODDREY, and on TikTok at Oddrey's World, ODDREY. So that's where you can support and follow. But you can also support by, like, do you want to be on? Do you have some incredible daydreams that you want to discuss? Do you want to be a guest? I'm opening the door. It's totally up to you. Would love it. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me and be a guest, okay? Okay, I'll be staying tuned for that. But until then, just appreciate you doing you and listening and tuning in. So that's all I got for you. I'll see you next Tuesday with our next guest. Love ya. Bye.